This episode is brought to you by the Thrive Tribe. Check it out at chasingbrighter.com/Thrive Tribe. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
Jess, I have a hard time committing to things
Yeah.
sometimes. I'm like indecisive because I want to leave my options open and I want to be able to make the decision that's convenient for me in the moment. I'm afraid of making a decision that will inconvenience me in the long run.
How do you do that when you also manage children's schedules and have a spouse?
So those are all in concrete. And so I need to keep my own personal schedule flexible. Those are the things I can't flex.
So is
Um,
chasing brighter personal, or do you also do that professionally?
no, because I get paid for those. But also, like we're trying to do so I have taken on a major DIY project, Jesse. I
Mhm.
am removing a wallpaper in the lake house.
How
Have
many
you ever
rooms have
removed
wallpaper? No, thank you. How many rooms
uh,
have wallpaper?
the master bedroom and the master bathroom?
Mhm.
And it's like a lot. It's all four walls. And it's
Are you
25.
renting a steamer?
I purchased one because they're $65,
Mm.
which isn't bad. But so it Sunday and yesterday, I it took me a little over 24 hours to do the entire bathroom, but I'm gonna have to go back and clear off the paint and glue, but I got all the wallpaper down, and so then I have to do the other
You
2
already
rooms.
did it?
Yeah, I did it. So I was up until, like, midnight last night, and then I got in the car early this morning with Becca, and we drove
Oh,
back
so you stayed
home.
the night at the lake house.
Yes.
Do you and on an air mattress?
It's fine, I'm getting used to the air mattress life. It's easier when it's one person in the air mattress. I
Mhm.
think it's less
What does
easy when
Beckett
it's
do? Does he run around? Does he play outside?
he yeah, he does a little bit of everything. He was
Mhm.
helping me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I roped him into helping me.
Yeah.
But
Is there
we
like a forest on the property or is there cleared areas? Or are there like snakes?
It's Michigan, Jesse. That's why I live up here, Jess. I don't know. I'm gonna go with there's no snakes in Michigan. I know there's not, but let's just go with it because I mean,
There's
it's
not
really
venomous
cold.
snakes, you mean?
Maybe
Oh, they would
there's
still be
probably like
hibernating in their snake dens right now.
they are hibernating right now. The only thing that we see are squirrels and lots of deer. And also, you say for the snakes regarding our property, it's wooded, but it's not. We're trying to clear off the leaves, but there's no ground cover. So it's like
Mm,
dirt.
yeah. It's
So,
not like high grass that would be
yeah,
hitting the
I mean, I
snake.
see a lot of round holes, and I'm like, I wonder if that's a snake
Yeah.
hole,
Yeah.
but it also could be there's a lot of ground squirrels.
I'm impressed you already removed the wallpaper. Are you guys painting yourselves? Are you guys doing the painting?
No, we are not. The painter gave us a really great quote, but he wasn't gonna remove the wallpaper, he was gonna skim coat the wallpaper,
Mm,
and I just feel like that's not
yeah, might as well just
very
get it
good.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. So I removed that. Removed the bathroom, and everyone's like, "Oh, you don't wanna do it. Oh, you don't wanna do it." And then I talked to somebody who's like, "Ah, I do it all the time." It is a giant pain in the butt, but once you figure it out, it's not so
You
bad.
did it.
It's very messy. I did it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things I'm learning about myself, Jess, is why don't we do things? We can do anything. We can do
Yes.
anything.
Yes.
And something prevents me from leaning into things. Like I'm afraid to do things.
Our friend Teresa, they bought a house and she's been DIYing like everything. She's just doing it. And so I've been like, Teresa, I want to redo my bathroom. She's like, let's do it. Like she's gained all of these skills now by just doing it herself.
Yeah.
And especially when you get quotes and you're like, I could do that myself. You know what? I could totally do that. I know I'm good at ripping up carpet and tearing out baseboards and getting nails. I'm good at that. But I would like to Justin put floors in, and he put wood floors in our home and tile in, and I would like to learn how to tile.
Ooh.
So I think that's really exciting for you. I went on spring break to the Gulf Coast of Texas,
Let's talk about it.
where you were curious in a previous episode whether people called it Gulf of America. I don't think people call it anything.
Just
But
the Gulf.
just like anytime there's, like, anything, like, there were T-shirts that said Gulf of America in some of the stores, but, like, whatever is prevalent culturally, right? So it was like a picture of Trump on the front, and then the back would say Gulf of America, whatever. So it was clearly like a political shirt. It wasn't like, "Hey, we in Texas here call it Gulf of America now." So I saw nothing or and no one said Gulf America, and I don't know
That's
what
fair
that's
because
about,
at the
but
end of the day, people are just very
yeah.
wanna make a quick buck kinda thing.
Yeah.
So even if they don't believe in those things.
And Galveston was super spread out, so we had drove into Galveston for a day because it was super windy, and like I told Kelly, it was purple alert, which means dangerous marine life, and so it was weird because 'cause you're, like, on the coast, and you're in Galveston, and then you leave for a second, and it's called, like, Jamaica Bay, then you're back in Galveston for a second, and so I just feel like Galveston has a reputation where it's, like, more expensive, and we were like it would be, like, Galveston and then our little town, so we loved our little town. But Galveston would be where there's they have, like, a pier that has, like, roller coaster and rides and stuff, and they had miniature golf and, like, a downtown and restaurants and stuff. But we were in Surfside Beach, Texas, and you could just fish in the water, and on Surfside Beach, in that area, you can drive on the beach if you have a pass, and I
I
was very
will
nervous about
okay.
it. But where we were was, like, very I'm so glad. We were at, like, the end of Surfside Beach, and so it was not populated. So when we first drove in, we went to this restaurant on the water, and it was just crowded with people in cars, and then our house was, like, 3 miles away, and there was, like, nobody there. So there was traffic, but it wasn't, like, cars everywhere, people everywhere. We basically had a beach to ourselves, and I think I asked about snakes because there was a a dune in front of our house that was covered in green. I thought the kids could play in when I booked it based on aerial review on aerial photos, but it's full of snakes, and there were signs everywhere about snakes, and you have to go over a little wooden bridge to the beach, and so there were snakes everywhere there. No, thank you.
Did you see one?
Didn't see one, but, like, everyone was like, "Be careful of snakes." Everywhere was telling us that and the signs. But, like, we just walked out and
Let
it
me
was
ask
so fun.
you something about that. Do you think maybe it's the same volume of snakes as trails in Las Vegas? They just don't have the signs. Like, how many snakes are there really, Jeff?
I don't know, but they are
They didn't have
rattlesnakes
signs
in
when we went hiking, we
Texas.
saw that rattlesnake.
They are rattlesnakes. They might be at the beginning of the trail, right?
Maybe.
That says be careful or whatever, but
I think everybody
had
in
a lot of
Texas is maybe a
fun.
little soft on the snakes.
We took our 3 children and then Kelly's eldest son, Wes, and then
Yes.
my daughter's boyfriend. And my daughter's boyfriend and Wes are huge fishers, and so you could fish right there. There was a crab pier where you could just go crabbing that was across the street from where we were staying, and they all had so much fun, but because it was windy that one day and I drove, I don't wanna drive with 5 children, and that was not enjoyable for me, and then we drove ended up being, like, 12,000,000 accidents. We were gonna go to North Houston to go to this barbecue place, and so I ended up driving another day, like 2 hours to go to this barbecue place because of traffic,
Yeah, that's
and
what
that was horrible.
so
But
traffic in Houston is really awful because I've been to Houston like 3 or 4 times,
yeah.
the Houston proper, because that's where HP actually, that's where because HP bought Compaq, and that was Compaq's headquarters. But I was on North Houston side, but traffic was horrible, but it's just really spread out. So, the interesting thing about Houston, I don't know if you know this, it's the 4th largest city in the US
Yes.
because of square miles, because it's just a
Oh, the
sprawl of a
size.
giant city limit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you notice how crazy high the highways are? Like
Oh, yeah,
Things
there
are
are,
like
like, bridges, like,
yeah, it's,
whatever,
like,
overpasses,
scary,
overpass,
and
it
there's
was
just, like, a little,
crazy.
like,
Looks
4
very
feet high fence.
futuristic. Very
Yes.
futuristic, but Wes didn't have barbecue with us the next day, so I think if he would have had barbecue with us the next day, he would have been like, "Damn, that was worth it to drive 2 hours,"
Oh,
because
okay.
the next day we had really good barbecue that had, like, way better sides. So the first place we went to was Tejas, which is chocolate and barbecue, and they
That was somewhere around the airport, that place?
no, it was not.
Oh, okay.
It's where my husband
Oh,
chose to
okay.
go.
Okay.
And it was cool because there's picnic tables, but the sides were just okay, and everyone was, like, wanting mac and cheese and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
the meat was really delicious, so the next day we went to Killen's, Killens, and that one had sides that the kids all love, like, more sides that you would know, like beans and whatever, and,
So you
um
guys left late that day, your flight left
mhm,
late, and so you
mhm,
checked out of the
mhm.
hotel or sorry, the house, chilled for a little bit, and then
Went to
you
the
went
beach,
to go,
and then
like, a
we were
big
like,
dinner
"What are
kinda
we
thing.
gonna do?" And we were, like, looking what's on the way to the airport, and we found a barbecue place. And on that same day, Dairy Queen was giving free cones the kids have been talking about for a month,
Oh,
and
fun.
actually, the barbecue place we chose was literally across the street from a Dairy Queen, and we were like, "Oh, perfect." And I liked that barbecue really good, but AJ and Justin were like, "Oh, the barbecue at Tejas was, like, so amazing." So that
Mm.
was cool to know that anyways, it was a really good barbecue place, but I was just a little disappointed about driving so much, and then my daughter ended up having her ACL surgery on March 24th, and she couldn't do much on spring break, and so the boys were running around and, like, flying kites and playing Frisbee, and we got a cricket thing and playing baseball and going boogie boarding, and so I think, like, she was, like, super, super bummed to not be able to do any of those things, and so that impacted her trip, but overall, had a great time. I would go back, however, they said that, like, in May I think starting in May, there are mosquitoes everywhere and bugs everywhere, so I'm like, "No, thanks." So it's a little colder, the weather kept changing on and off when we were gonna be there, and so it ended up being a little bit like, a couple days that were a little bit colder than I would have liked. I don't know if I'd wanna go there during summer because they said there's bugs everywhere, so
Well, so for people who live in areas where there are bugs, ignore anything Jessie said because she's not used to any flying animal,
yeah.
and she's
But
not
they
a
but
fan
people
of
said in the books, people were noticing, like, just swarms of mosquitoes, they were saying, like, there's a
I think
book
they're
in the
just trying to
rental,
scare people off. I'm
and
skeptical, Jess.
so I'm like, "Mosquitoes like me. Interesting." Do your research if you
Um,
wanna go in the summer.
just bring some off,
Uh,
it's fine.
uh,
There's so many things, by the way, just now in terms of technology with that, right? There are the stickers, there are the
mhm.
wristbands.
Yeah.
There's a lot you could do. You might have to dot up your shirt and put a lot of wristbands on, but I think you
Are
can,
you
like
eaten up by mosquitoes?
I use repellent of some
Because
shape or
there
form.
are some people, just depending on whatever, like,
Your blood type. Yeah,
I get
right.
eaten up and also I get swollen, like, I they will get hot and swollen, and
So you might be
there's
allergic to
something called
mosquitoes.
Skeeter syndrome where you're, like, allergic
Mm.
to the saliva, and I don't think I have it to that level, but I do have some kind of something there. So, anyway.
I will say Wes had a fantastic time. For many of my friends or people I know have children who have traveled by themselves many times in their life from a very young age, and
Yeah,
we have never done it.
we have
I've
not.
never done it with the kids.
Yeah.
Wes is 14, it's the first time he's flown alone, and that was super easy and a great experience for him. He also, because he had never done it, not
Mhm.
only did he didn't even go as an unaccompanied minor, he went as a solo
'Cause for
traveler
Southwest, yeah, you're
on
considered an adult,
Southwest.
yeah.
I think maybe the other ones too, but he went through he when you dropped him off at the airport, right? He checked his bag and then he went through security by himself, got to the gate by himself, got on the plane, came home. I met him coming out of arrivals or whatever. So that was really great. I think it was a good confidence builder for him. We're definitely trying to raise kids who are more independent. Beckett is 11 and he is totally at that level that I could send him to Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah, we
He's not as much of a fan of doing it as obviously Wes is right now. Beck doesn't find it interesting. He's not I was like, "Hey, you're in spring break this week. I can fly you to go see Nona and Papa." He was like, "No." Also, we're cat sitting, by the way. I don't know if I told you, we're cat sitting.
Wes told me you were going to be,
Yes,
yeah,
and they are having a great time with
hang with the
having a
cat.
cat for a while.
I was gonna say, I said we didn't do that, but one time because of plans, Gabby, we were in San Diego. We drove to San Diego with the boys, Danica, Teresa, and I,
I
and
remember
Gabby,
this.
and we had to get her flight to go back for a tournament. But it was like she doesn't even remember it when I said she did it because it was
You
like a
were so
40-minute.
worried about it,
It was a
Jess. It was weighing
40-minute
on you a
flight.
lot.
It was like a 40-minute flight.
I know, but it was a
So
lot for you to think about, and it was actually a lot because it was not only was she flying back, but then she had to get her stuff and get
that
herself
whole trip
friend to
was
go on a
bananas.
road trip. So,
That
yeah,
was the
that was a
same
lot.
summer that all the flights were canceled, and it was all craziness, and that was the beginning of craziness. But yeah, no, I'm really excited, and I know in April, we're gonna continue talking about fun, having a lot of fun, having joy, and I was really proud of myself for planning that trip and inviting other kids, which I've never really done before, and so I did it, and it was great, and you are learning a new skill, removing wallpaper, and so we're just doing
Yes.
things.
Thanks for listening today. Don't forget to subscribe so you can hear our latest episodes as soon as they drop.
If you loved today's episode, share with a friend. Find us on Instagram, Facebook at Chasing Brighter, or check out our blog at chasingbrighter.com and follow us. If you want to know more about Kelly and I, read our blogs, find more tips, tools, and resources, check that out at chasingbrighter.com. Thanks. Remember, your best life is just a listen away.